Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Shineability Show. If you haven't been here before, my name is Robin Carberry, and I help Gen X women untangle the knot of midlife confusion, get super clear and uncover what they're here to do, and unleash more flow, connection, success, and joy in their lives. So I apply my years of experience mentoring hundreds of folks on growth journeys. I ask questions and do some deep listening, and I also leverage my own journey as an OG Gen Xer to help my clients stop second guessing and backpedaling and instead start moving forward with full confidence that they are on the right track. So today I want to talk about fresh starts. I'm super excited about this. So contrary to what you might think, a fresh start does not mean you have to blow everything up and completely start over from scratch. So while that idea can be super tempting, and I get it because I have been there more than once, and particularly tempting if you've been struggling for a while in your job or in your business, feeling like you wake up every morning just to be put through the ringer every single day, that more energy gets drained from you every single day, and it's harder and harder for you to replenish yourself. And if you are feeling burnt out, like you just literally cannot do that thing for one more day, it's hard for you to step back and assess whether burning everything down really is the thing that makes sense for you. So starting completely over is hard. I've done it more than once, but sometimes it is what makes sense for you. Unfortunately, not everybody has the flexibility in every single circumstance to do that right away. If you've got financial concerns, family concerns, worried about health insurance coverage, all these things are going to be top of mind for you and make it much harder for you to say, I got to hit the reset button right now. So a fresh start doesn't have to be all or nothing. It's not like I quit and I'm out the door necessarily. A fresh start can mean other things for you. So you don't have to put that additional pressure on yourself to have all of the answers at once, to know exactly what the next thing is going to be for you. So on today's episode of the Shineability Show, I talk about how you can start fresh by taking smaller steps. You may discover that small shifts actually make all the difference when it comes to what you're doing right now. Or if you do decide to make big changes, and that can happen, you will have a lot more information to work with. So you will know what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and you won't find yourself just moving into a new situation, a new job in a new company, or starting a new business under a new name, but recreating exactly the set of circumstances that you were trying to get away from in the first place. So, step one to starting fresh is getting a clear understanding of the type of work that you would do all freaking day long without getting paid for it. The type of work that gives you energy instead of draining you. The type of work where time flies by. It feels like you've been at it for 10 minutes, but instead you've been at it for an hour. You're gonna look at the clock and be like, holy cow, wow, how did that happen? So how do you do this? How do you get clear on this? You can start by tracking what you do every day at work, whether it's your job or your business. And that does not need to be as hard as it sounds, I promise you. Use whatever tool is at hand that is easy for you. If you're a day planner person, use your day planner. You can use a note-taking app on your phone. You can do voice recordings. You can put it in a Google Doc, whatever it happens to be that makes it simple for you. I want you to just look at what you are doing in your work for 5 days. Track it, what it is, what you worked on, how much time it took you. Then, at the end of the week, I want you to look back at how you spent your time. How much of your time was spent doing things that actually filled you up, that got you excited, that got you into that state of flow? And how much time were you spending on the things that drained you of energy? So here is also where the Sparketype assessment can help you. So this Sparketype assessment is a 10-minute assessment that you can take. It is free. That will tell you, that'll explain to you what type of work it is that fills you up instead of draining you. It breaks it down into 3 areas: your primary Sparketype, your shadow Sparketype, and your anti-Sparketype. And it'll give you a lot of clarity about why you're doing certain things, why certain decisions worked for you, why certain decisions did not work for you. So, second step, now that you have your list and you have your Sparketype, step back and look at your job or your business from a bigger perspective. How integral to what it is that you do every day is the work that fills you up? How integral is the work that drains you? So you get a feel for what your position actually is and how much time the good work versus the not so great work is taking. Then say to yourself, okay, can I look at what I'm doing every day a little bit differently? Are there ways to spend less time doing the work that drains you? Maybe there's somebody in your organization or on your team who loves doing that type of work and would just eat up the opportunity to tackle that work and to make an impression by doing that. So something else to consider is maybe this work that's draining you, you're just assuming that it's something that you have to do and that nobody else can do. And really, everybody would be better off if you didn't do it at all, or if your involvement in that process was minimal and limited to just the things that you had to touch. Now, if you're in a situation where you can't hand that work off or delegate it, which I completely understand. If you're starting a business, you're bootstrapping, you're doing all the things, or maybe in your organization, there are just certain things that are going to stay on your plate and there's no way to take them off. And that is completely normal. Is it possible, though, for you to manage your energy around that differently? So maybe you start by reframing that work so it speaks to your why. That can help. You might also be able to plan and prepare differently for your workday or your work week. So you take that work that drains you and you schedule time on your calendar where that work goes and it doesn't bleed into the rest of your day. Then you can plan for it and prepare for it. You can look at ways that you can get better at doing those types of things so it takes you less time. And you can also schedule some time afterwards to recover. So recovery doesn't have to mean that you take the rest of the day off and go to the spa or go to the club and work out, although those things are great. It may be that you just take a 10-minute walk outside, or it could be that you schedule the work that fills you up into that time slot after the work that drains you, because that can also help you recover because it gives you energy. So if you discover during this process that work that drains you is more central to your job or business than the work that feels meaningful, again, maybe you don't have to blow everything up. There can be some flexibility in the container that you're already in. For example, you may find in your department, for instance, if you're working at a company, that there is somebody sitting right next door to you who is feeling drained by the things that light you up and loves to do the things that you don't want to do. So maybe it's simply a matter of looking at departmental responsibilities a little bit differently. The same work gets done, there's the same output, but because the right people are doing that type of work, everybody benefits. So that's one example. It may be that you just simply take a different job in the same company, that there are other opportunities for you there. You know the culture, you're already an employee, it's less expensive for the employer for you to leave and have to replace you than to shift you to another place where you are going to benefit and you're going to get more out of the experience and they're going to have a happier, more satisfied employee. If you're running your own business, this might look like a shift in your offers. So say, for example, that you decided to start doing coaching as part of your business. You know, that's something that everybody talks about. It's a good way to share your knowledge and experience once you've become an expert. But you've realized through doing one-to-one coaching calls that that is actually something that drains you. It is not something that you enjoy. It is not something you want to continue doing. That does not mean you need to blow up your entire business. What it can mean is that, okay, I have this expertise that I built this business around. Maybe a different way for me to apply it is by consulting with clients, getting data and information about their businesses, and creating a strategic plan for them that I hand off to them, and I don't offer the coaching that goes along with that. That allows you to stay in the same container that you're in, still do work you enjoy, and start to eliminate or minimize the work that brings you down or brings you pain. So here's another example. I'm working with a client right now who has a yoga business, and just offering general yoga classes, while it is something that she really did enjoy for a long time, just wasn't really doing it for her anymore. So she decided to niche down who she is speaking to. She has started to work with corporate women who are struggling with burnout and overwhelm and frustration and just don't have a way to, or an outlet for that sort of negative energy that they're carrying around with themselves. So for my client, this means she doesn't have to blow up her yoga business. She continue doing the things that she does love to do in teaching these women that yoga is a tool that can help them manage that stress better. That is something she is so passionate about and cares about so much, but she's able to use what she's already built to continue to do work that lights her up. So your Gen experiment for this week is to see whether a fresh start can work for you in the context of what you're doing, instead of making a huge change out of what is very understandable frustration. Because even if you decide that a big change ultimately is the right thing for you, going through this process will give you answers about what that big change should look like for you. So that's it for today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week, and I will see you again next Wednesday.